What up, Moist Nation? Welcome into episode 7 of the MicMe TV show, MicMe TV podcast episode show thing, series, mini-series, movie, every other keyword you can imagine. Algorithm, please pick me. I had a whole thing planned for today I was going to go through this whole imagination, cross-comparison of different cultures and different, societies throughout human history. I don't really think that's going to land today. There's a lot going on in the world. I'm reading off of CNBC right now, an article. This dude impersonated a police officer, killing former Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman, a Democrat, and her husband Mark. And then this dude went and tried to assassinate two other people, Minnesota Democratic State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. They were shot at multiple times. They were both shot multiple times by the suspect at their home. But they survived, luckily. So immediately you think of Luigi Mangione. At least I did. I know it's not a direct comparison. One is kind of one after the not a billionaire, but the CEO of a huge, just to make sure everything's right, he killed Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare in New York City. So that was February 21st, 2025. So what the hell is that? 5 months ago? Not even that. And it feels like years ago. There's just so much going on right now. There's protests in LA with unconstitutional deportations and arrests and reporters getting shot at with rubber bullets. I mean, it's just a really crazy time. And now we see this assassin. There was already that assassination attempt on Donald Trump. So we saw this attempted political violence that was luckily curbed. I hate Trump, but shooting him is not how you deal with this stuff. It's not the American way. So Trump is almost killed. The bullet pierces his ear. Then we get Luigi Mangione. And now we're going to get this suspect who's still at large, who killed, again, Melissa Hortman, former Minnesota House Speaker, and her husband, and tried to kill the senator, John Hoffman. This speaks to a larger problem in the country. It speaks to why I think Trump is president. I think collectively on both sides, we have this, and especially amongst younger people. When I talk to my parents, or when I talk to my friends' parents, they still have this sort of old school belief in institutions, which I think is American. It is American to believe in institutions, and it would be American for those institutions to serve their constituents. But when those institutions fail to, you get people in a vacuum of faith, right? Because the faith that they used to have in the government and the structures that be. I mean, I really did used to be a staunch anti-gun person because I believed in my government. And ever since Bernie was outed by the DNC, ever since Trump tried to steal the election, now seeing Trump deploy the National Guard on citizens in LA and migrants in LA, and I'm sure some illegal immigrants in LA, it's scary. And we're seeing government overreach. I mean, even when the Democrats were in charge, they were deplatforming Republicans. And now Republicans are trying to deplatform the Democrats. Trump, how many lawsuits has Trump filed now against news companies and media outlets because they're giving him, non-favorable coverage? I mean, it's just it's so insane what's happening. And these abuses of power. And I think the problem is we just live in such a hyperbolic state of affairs, right? Or at least the coverage of said affairs, but really the affairs themselves have become pretty fucking extreme. I mean, you're seeing clips of bills going to the House and Senate that Republicans just will not negotiate on. And in that vacuum of faith in institutions, strong men arise. It's like, that's the story of history. It's usually a country comes into power, it has its heyday, those institutions start to sell false promises to its people, or it doesn't deliver on the promises, and then strongmen take charge on radical ideology or on fascist ideology. In fascism, what's the number one indicator of that? It's scapegoatism. And who's the scapegoat? Illegal immigrants. And we're using those illegal immigrants to now breach constitutional checks and balances put in place to keep somebody like Trump, not from taking over the country. But when he's deploying the National Guard, going after the free press, attacking judges left and right, and not being held accountable, it's really scary, and it's only emblematic of what I'm previously saying. It's him taking over this power gap and putting it into acceleration of what people are allowing. And let's talk about that, what people are allowing. I think there's a lot of people with common sense who are out there protesting, who are rightfully upset about this, but there's also a portion of people who are the at all costs necessary people, who have such firm conviction in their ideologies that they don't care how Trump goes about enforcing these deportations or enforcing legislative changes. He broke the record for the most executive orders of any president in the first 100 days of his term. There's overreach everywhere. And if you want to be bipartisan, I already pointed out some overreach issues with the Democrats stemming. When I first kind of started to look into this stuff on that Super Tuesday, where every single candidate besides Bernie and Hillary dropped out and all said vote Hillary. It was a DNC power grab. And then the next time the DNC is up for, a big election, they lie to the American people about Biden's well-being, his mental capacity, and then don't even hold a primary for Kamala. And I know she was the vice president. She was next in line. I'm not questioning that. And I'm not even questioning her legitimacy as a candidate. She was elected, I think 5 times throughout her career in California. And no, she did not sleep her way to the top. She had millions of votes. Did she sleep with millions of people? No. So just shut up with these stupid fucking talking points and wake up to these 2 boxes, right? There's one box that's ideology, and there's another box that's how you go about enforcing that ideology. And these all-cost people who look at what Trump's doing, throwing people without trial into the back of vans and driving them away to detention centers that are understaffed and can't even fucking handle how many people are being sent there, because this is all being done without a good plan. There's a portion of the population that supports that, because they've been sold this lie that illegal immigrants are why your groceries are expensive and not, bank bailouts, the fact that giant corporations don't pay taxes, the fact that we've outsourced labor production, and now we're trying to bring it back by putting tariffs on things. We're going to fucking have people in America working for Nike and sweatshops. It is so ludicrous, the ideas that were being sold right now. I'm sorry, my kitten is attacking my lamp. Come here, kitty. Oh, wow, that lamp just fell over. I think he knows I'm recording. And I'm all stressed out. He peed all over my carpet. And I feel like this is the state of America right now. I feel like I'm a carpet getting peed on by a cat that I can't do anything about. And I scream out and I cry and I get upset, but I'm a carpet just getting pissed on. That isn't the soundest analogy, I know, but this kitten is going nuts right now. Do you want a treat? Come here. Let me try to expand upon and really elucidate what I'm trying to get at here. I kind of expressed the idea that strongmen come about with ideologies packed behind them. If it's not fascism with a scapegoat, it can be communism, where it's like unite the people under one central ruling order. And we've seen that that doesn't work. There needs to be a checks and balance system. You can't give all the power to the government. You can't give all the power to a dictator, a person. You can't give all the power to corporations. And unfortunately, what's happened in our government is that a lot of our representatives are bought. A lot of them are just, puppets of big money. You could argue the Democrats are the war and pharmaceutical machine. Even though Trump is ironically still supporting Israel, even though he won a campaign on peace, he backed out of Ukraine, but he's still supporting Israel. You have the Democrats, who you could say are the party of the pharmaceutical and the war machine billionaires, and the Republicans are now they've pivoted to the big tech billionaires. I mean, Trump just issued Palantir a giant government contract to start tracking migrants in real time. I mean, it's like 1984 level shit. And I'm doing that billionaire segment right now. I'm learning a lot about these big tech bros, these broligarchs, as I like to call them, because they really have infiltrated our government with their unlimited amounts of campaign contributions. I mean, go look up the largest donors in America in this 2024 election. One was Elon Musk, of course, and another was another fucking billionaire I just covered. Jeff Yass. Or Yass, whatever the hell. 70 billion. It's so frustrating when it's so clear our institutions have failed us, but then in the vacuum of that space, we don't demand institutional accountability. What we do is we pivot to strongman ideology because we'd rather understand it from an emotional perspective than a logical and analytical perspective, right? And I have evidence of that. I'm talking to people. I'm trying my best to say that there's different ways of thinking about this. There is the ideological way of thinking about this. There is the legislative way of thinking about this, and / if constitutional way of thinking. So it's just it's so bothersome when you see a Trump supporter who's like, Biden violated the Constitution by pardoning Hunter Biden. It's like, yeah, he did. You know who else violated the Constitution? Donald Trump, when he tried to literally call the Georgia vote people and I'm going to find this clip. I will play his actual voice, his telephone call asking for more votes in Georgia. I mean, it is so insane, the level of corruption that these people are okay with, because they've been sold this ideological thing that goes with their John Wayne Christo nationalism version of reality.
It's not possible to have lost Georgia. It's not possible. When I heard it was close, I said, there's no way. But they dropped a lot of votes in there late at night. You know that, Brad. With all of it being said, we lost by essentially 11,000 votes, and we have many more votes already calculated and certified to. So I just don't know, Mark, I don't know what's the purpose. I won't give Dominion a pass because we found too many bad things, but we don't need Dominion or anything else. We have won this election in Georgia based on all of this, and there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated, because the 2,236 and absentee ballots, I mean, they're all exact numbers that were done by accounting.
The president determines that you have is the data you have is wrong.
And that's the point of this episode. In the vacuum of institutional correctness, or not correctness, because that's more of a cultural thing. Institutional, it's running well. If an institution isn't running well and the people start to rebel against said institutions or said government, whatever is in charge, it's a vacuum of faith, right? We don't have our faith in the powers that be that define reality anymore, our laws, the ways of just going about change, peaceful protest. when you're so hyperbolic about everything, when you have these Republican accounts saying, oh my God, every single protester is burning down CVS. It's like, no, they're not, bro. And it takes 2 fucking seconds to just step outside of your perception and look at somebody else's perspective. But like, we just refuse to. And maybe that's because a lot of these people who support Trump have already bought into another version of mythology that controls their reality, or at least defines their reality, which is religion. And if you already let one version of reality kind of like write the rules of your perception, then if another guy is coming in and saying things that align with that visor, with that vision, maybe you'll put that right in too. And if I look up at a strong male leader and I feel guilt and I have to repent and I have to do, maybe Trump is as strong as God. It's like, and I'm saying that hyperbolically, of course, because isn't that what we do nowadays? We just speak like everything is the fucking end of the world. And maybe that's why we're here, because we brought it upon ourselves. Maybe we've said, the Democrats are ruining democracy. The Republicans are ruining democracy, until we actually got this charlatan who came in on drain the swamp bullshit saying I'm the man of peace, going to the fucking Western Wall and giving Israel this money. Like we're so like fucked right now that we'll emotionally believe in anything, because we just want this idea that it's going to be like the 90s again, like the 2000s again. This whole like fucking white boy summer bullshit, crack a beer and just watch the stock market go up. I mean, it's so fucking ridiculous. We've been sold this idea of infinite growth, that if the market goes up, it means it's good for everybody, while we're seeing, people addicted to opioids out on the streets pumping, while we're taking away, like Trump's trying to take away healthcare benefits while at the same time giving giant tax breaks to billionaires and corporations. It's like, how is that American? Because it makes the stock market go up and then we're still the big economy over top China. It's like we're trying to fucking compete with illegal labor, with like slave labor, Chinese slave labor, pretty much. It's like, how do you think our economy could possibly compete with that? It would have to be big tech bullshit. And it's like everybody complaining about these fucking like illegal immigrants coming in and stealing their. And what really is rich is all these Republican fucking billionaires who are complaining about migrants and posting all this. Our schools are under attack by transgenders. Our economy is under attack by migrants, by illegal immigrants. It's like these are the same fucking big tech bros who are like false inflating our economy to like the moon and driving inflation. Because really, if you think about it, it's like how doing this billionaire thing has been really eye-opening. The richest people in the world, like 20 years ago, were under 100 billion. Since COVID, a lot of these big tech people have doubled their net worth. And what do you think that does to the economy at large? If you're pumping in that much growth, that's going to outpace everybody else's dollar in every other sector. It's like, you think a fucking farmer can grow at the pace of Google? It's like, what is he supposed to do? Like NFT every single little portion of wheatgrass and put it on the open market? And it's just so ridiculous. And everybody's like, oh, market go up, the world get better. It's just, that's failing people. So the ideological economic lie of Western society is failing people. The ideological faith, or not so much the ideological, but just the overall faith in the institutions that govern and run Western society is failing. People don't believe in the UN anymore. Look at what Netanyahu's doing. War crime after war crime after war crime. He arrested Greta Thunberg, and I literally know people who laugh about it because we just live in a fucking meme world, I guess. I mean, so let's try to fucking reel this back to some level of cohesion. I know I put my outline aside, and that might be driving this rant focused episode, but I really needed to just get some of this out. And so we talk about this philosophical faith vacuum, the economic one, and let's say the governmental one. Both of those have failed people. This stock go up thing has failed people. Because everybody who's not either working for a corporation or is adjacent to big tech, like a content creator who really is just an extension of big tech, we're just marketers and for their product. Even this video, it'll go up and just attract new users to the product. Never put down YouTube, bro. Always look at your phone. Optimize. It's like all tech has done is given me better apps for my calendar and hollowed out my life. We've optimized our lives like robots, and we've hollowed out any emotion, any like spiritual awakening or well-being. You try to like talk about Alan Watts to your friends. Who the fuck is dude? I mean, it's just we'll accept transhumanism before we accept this idea of like spiritual interconnectedness. When we know at an atomic level everything's just quarks and leptons and whatever. And look at the Fibonacci spiral. Look at that. It's a the Fibonacci spiral is a fractal, which proves interconnectedness. Fractals are repeating patterns at different scales. I mean, it's just the universe is so clearly telling us to live for sustainability and not growth. And that will be harmony with ourselves and nature. But no, what do? We want to fucking blast off to Mars. So Elon Musk can colonize that and do more like resource extraction to fucking sell the next. I mean, it's so absurd. And he claims that's the future of humanity while they all build their bunkers underground as plan B. They're building bunkers. And you're trying to tell me I'm the crazy one because I just look up that they're building bunkers instead of watching The fucking Bachelor like they want me to do. It's getting hard to continue this lie. To go work as a GTA being paid under the poverty fucking line in America. I know I'm getting free college, but the wage on top of that while teaching 2 classes is underneath the poverty line. And you have out-of-college consultants who work for big 5 firms doing what? Contributing to the economy? Pumping stonks? Helping giant corporations grow even more and conglomerate even more and suck up even more of small business until every fucking big city in America looks exactly the same. I used to like traveling. Now you go to Chicago, go to Atlanta, go to LA. I went there recently. I went to LA. Every fucking city. I'm in Wichita right now. I drive from Wichita to Michigan, so I go through Kansas City. I sometimes will go through St. Louis. I'll go through Springfield, which isn't really that big. You go through Chicago, and you can get to Detroit if you finish that route. What do you have in every single city? What do you have along the way to every single city? A fucking McDonald's in every single, like, you think that's culture? You think that's helping people to drive up that McDonald's stock? It's like maybe it did when McDonald's first fucking came out, but this is late stage capitalism where conglomeration is just draining all culture and economic like viability from people who aren't in sectors with growth capacity. And what world is that? Oh, you're an artist? Then you need to think about your brand. You need to think about your growth strategy and your growth potential. Don't think about contributing to collective consciousness or culture at large or making people smarter. Think about making your product marketable because that's the point of life. It's just so fucking absurd and backwards. And it's not serving us anymore. It's not. Elon Musk is over $400 billion. He just bought the fucking election. He went and was the head of Doge, just slashing government agencies left and right and then hiring them back because they made a mistake with our own fucking money. And then Trump's telling us we can't afford healthcare. While Elon does that, hires a bunch of teenagers to help him run. It's just, I'm so over it. And I'm so over these fucking hustle culture bros who put on their suit and tie in the morning and go help a company fucking take over the world. It's so stupid. And you know what it's going to be next? It's going to be big tech, these mega billionaires who think they call the shots versus strong men who take positions of power in strong countries around the world. You think Trump is just going to let Musk do whatever he wants? We already saw that he told Musk to fuck off. And then Musk tweets out, oh, you're in the Epstein files. And then Musk takes it back because Trump probably gave his contracts back or did something behind the scenes to appease Elon. So now Elon's like, I don't have to tell the truth. And isn't that very bothersome about Republicans, that they're so quick to be like, oh, these Democrats are pedophiles. These Democrats are so terrible. Trump and Epstein were fucking close. They were known to be close. He was on that jet so many times. And we're just going to conveniently forget about that? He's a fucking perv. Look up that party in Moscow that he went to. He's a pervert. He grabs women by the pussy. He pays hush money to Stormy Daniels, which is a fucking felony during a campaign. While you're running a campaign, you can't pay hush money. Nobody cares. So we don't give a fuck about law anymore if it's convenient for our side. We don't give a fuck about Trump trying to steal an election, inciting an insurrection, throwing migrants in the back of vans without due process. We don't give a fuck if it aligns with my core Christian values. Because Trump's a strong man. Just like Jesus, they're strong men. Lead me. I don't care if I piss people off. You know what pisses me off? When separation of church and state isn't a thing. That's what pisses me off. The founding fathers are fucking rolling in their grave. While Joel Osteen is doing mega churches, getting rich, and Trump is, it's so stupid. And we're in this philosophical vacuum of faith. So what did we decide to put our faith in? Trump. And now we're here. And I think a lot of people are rolling back on that. I mean, his approval rating is terrible right now. We can pull that up. Trump approval rating. I mean, there's a No Kings protest going on right now in every single state because he's abusing his power. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows he's abusing his power. The crazy part is there's people in this fucking country who are okay with it because they want the illegal immigrants gone. You know what I want gone? Billionaire tax breaks. Giant corporation tax breaks. I want people with special needs to be cared about. But what do we do when we only live for growth, for market growth? We dehumanize everything, the world around us, because what are externalities in the market? They're things like resources that we're not going to implement into our growth strategy. If I'm a paper company, you think I'm going to fucking account for how many trees I'm uprooting and I need to plant them back to make sure that it's sustainable? No, that's an externality to the capitalist model. So let's just pump the stonk until there's no more trees and then we'll go to Mars. It's like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, what the fuck? All that shit worked for a bit, but we gotten to this point where it's not. And instead of like taking our fucking heads out of the sand and facing that problem, which is hard, it's tiresome and hard and fucking scary. It's scary to talk about these things. It's stressful. But you know what? Somebody has to. You think I'm just gonna go and spend my whole life fucking like working out and playing basketball and optimizing and serving capitalism? It's like, no, my fucking world is burning. And you want me to like buy into this idea that isn't even serving me? It's just making these tech broligarchs richer and more powerful? Nobody can afford a house because it's all international and conglomerate money. I mean, it's so absurd. And you want me to work for that economy and invest in that economy and believe that these giant hedge fund managers who do algorithmic trading that are basically just fucking like computerized the market. So it's so ridiculous how dumb they think we are. And so we're in this philosophical vacuum of faith. We don't believe in our economy and we don't believe in our leadership. So Trump comes along. And if we keep this ideological bickering and we don't look at the structural issue that there is government overreach occurring on both sides ramping up, the Democrats ramped it up as Trump ramped it up. And you can say, oh, the Republicans did it more. I'm picking the lesser of two evils. Cool. I'm going to pick the lesser of two evils too. Does that mean that I just fucking ignore that our institutional framework is crumbling? And maybe it is the Republicans who are guilty for 90% of it. Maybe it is. They probably are. They are. But when you're not letting an AOC and a Bernie run, who are actually the grassroots candidates who support people, who are real representatives, right? They don't represent a billionaire or a donor class. They represent people. We don't let them into the presidency. So it's not a surprise Trump is here. If we don't start to analyze this vacuum of ideological faith in the economy and our governance, our government at large, our institutions, like to the domestic, to the national, to the global level. Because we see it with the UN, we see it with Trump disregarding every single fucking law, and we see it with local people. I'm sure local government people are given contracts left and right to their buddies. I don't have evidence of that. This is hyperbolic. But oh, dear me, I'm speaking in hyperbole about the people in control, while the people in control say that illegal immigrants are ruining your lives. I mean, fuck off. And they're saying that paying for somebody's health care is ruining your life. Fuck off. Bailing out Wall Street, bailing out the banks, tech bro-oligarchs outpacing every other sector of the economy it's so ridiculous that the Republicans are talking about returning all of this American business. You think Google's gonna only market to Americans? You think any tech person who can use the internet to sell to the whole world is gonna not? No, they are. Tech ruined this whatever economic model that you may be used to believe in. And if not tech, then this inability to pace a livable wage, the working class, the class wage that doesn't work in growth model oriented sectors. So like your public workers. And so maybe this is a little all over the place, but I think I covered a lot of real stuff here and stuff a lot of people are feeling. They're so fucking angry. And they listen to all these slogans all around. Put your faith in me, put your faith in me, put your faith in me. And we've done that for so long and at a wide scale, whether you want to argue this person did that or this person did that or this person did that, it failed. Our government failed and our economy failed. And now in that vacuum, we are turning to strongman ideology, saying we will return to the golden days if we just all blame the Mexicans and the Venezuelans and deport them to El Salvador without due trial. And there's people who are agreeing with that because that's where we are in this mythological vacuum. So the myth of economy, the myth of faith, these are all myths. And that's what drives me crazy. People are so bound to their time and place that they can't see that the rules that govern their lives, whether it's religion, whether it's the economy, and whether it's the government, they're all oriented based on the time period they're in and the stage of enlightenment that humanity has reached by that point. You think people in the Stone Age would be fucking debating tech or debating a monotheistic worldview? No, because they don't, like, people way back who didn't understand weather systems made that their God because they didn't understand it. And once we understand these different systems around us and we start putting, terminology and understanding to concepts that are outside of our reach and we bring them into our reach, we're like, oh, those are definable. Oh, so that means they must not be mystical anymore. It's like, shut the fuck up. Everything's mystical, okay? At a subatomic level. Fractals. Look into that. If that's not mystical, I don't know what is. If that's not intelligent design, I don't know what is. And if you want to fit that into your little Jesus model that's existed for 2,000 years while modern humans with this brain have existed for 200,000, go for it. If that helps you sleep at night, go for it. And if that makes you a good person, and if you actually follow the virtues that are in that said thing and don't use it to just be like, oh, I work hard and my money is mine. And even though it's harder for a rich man to get into heaven than go through the eye of the needle, my power that be people are telling me to interpret it this way. And it means that, being rich and holding on to my money like Krusty Krab is good. It's like, and I can bring blame down to that personal level, even though I shouldn't have to, because obviously these problems exist at the institutional level. But since we're so fucking predicated on ad hominem attacks and just these like insane, like, that sometimes you have to attack maybe the character or the root of the issue or bring it down to the relatable, personable level. Because what's like personable? I vote every 4 years. I go to the grocery store and price go up, and and the Pope's new, and maybe he'll tell me to hate gay people again, and then I will. It's like, that's where people operate. And these conversations that need to be had about structural faith, about the myth of the market, about the myth of governance, and not saying myth in the sense that it's not real, saying that everything is conjured. The market didn't poop itself out. We made it. We made it up. The Bible wasn't found underneath a stone we wrote it. So what's happening is self-conjured, self-imposed, and you need to have that acceptance and maybe that sort of ego death to start looking at things not through your fucking whatever colored glasses. And I know that's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable to consider that you might be wrong. I do it every single day. I do. It sucks. It's probably why I smoke a bunch of weed and I'm depressed and I want to kill myself. But that's real. And you can cover it up with an opioid crisis and blaming illegal immigrants. But like, holy fucking shit, dude. Just get your head out of your ass. And just look at what's happening in the world. So before I get out of here, let's talk about this vacuum of myth, vacuum of faith, and maybe talk about some potential changes. I don't think AI is going to go away. It's probably going to be a thing. The data centers that run it might kill all the phytoplankton by the time that we, have our kids, the next generation, and the microplastics might make us all infertile by then. But the powers that be aren't going to stop. What really needs to happen, and you can call me one world order if you want. We already have the fucking UN, just nobody cares. There needs to be a humanitarian group that somehow leverages power. And I'm not saying go a full Epstein where you're like, getting a dude to go out there and, get a bunch of blackmail, stuff on powerful people to make them change. But we need to somehow approach a philosophical solution to this and not an anarchic solution. Because anarchy breeds strong men. And diplomacy and diplomacy takes brain and it takes thought. And that's not always super emotional. Sometimes it's logical and analytical and whatever other fucking word you want to use. Okay? Maybe instead of working for a market that's just building the capacity to build sentient AI military machines that kill us all, and nukes and giant tech conglomerates that are going to soon vouch for power with nation states. I'm telling you this. Elon Musk is like the 24th or 23rd now richest country in the world. You don't think that he could be his own nation state? And you can say, oh, we'll just we'll boot him out of the market. You're going to boot out every single big tech guy from the market? No, there's going to be some governments who are like, oh, is America placing too hard of restrictions on you? Come over here. China will be like, come over here, Elon, and do everything you want to do. And we'll fund it with robots, with our own AI. So everybody knows there's a future of isolationism and of tech disruption to the natural world coming up. Billionaires are building bunkers. We're building plans to go to Mars. There's a lot of post-collapse plans going on. I don't want to do a post-collapse plan. I want to do a post-shareholder market growth at all cost driven plan, where instead of building the capacity for AI machines to kill each other, we're building the capacity for systems to be sustainable at large scales. Because we don't have to kill all the humans. Like, all these depopulation people are fucking insane. There's more than enough to go around if we just have a system that's a little bit more equitable and doesn't spew these bullshit isolationist lies from birth that yourself, your name is your brand. You need to work against your neighbors and not work with your neighbors. It's just like, what are we all going to build our own fucking bunkers and just not have a community when shit hits the fan? What do people think is going to happen? Do you even think of that? Or are you just so immersed in growing your company's stock in the next forecast and the next quarterly forecast, and everything's moving so fast? You got to hit your number, that you can't stop and think. And it's scary to stop and think. It's really fucking scary. And maybe it leads to a little bit of not deprecation, but it can, like, self-sabotaging was the term I was looking for. It can be self-sabotaging to stop and think, because then you're not a market machine optimizing your life for economic value. You become a human being. And then you're like, oh, maybe this system does have some moral flaws. Maybe this system does have some real deep-rooted issues that come at the expense of, like, sustainability. And I can't get over the fact that science tells, like, sustainability is built into the literal source code of the universe. Fractals at every single level. And I know that's my little buzzword of the day, but these repeating patterns at every single level kind of symbolize the unity of scale and the symbiotic nature of the universe. You don't have any one thing demanding more energy than the other. And if it does, it becomes recycled into the whole, so the whole sustains. Does that make sense? I can boil it down to a smaller example. Say there's a perfect ecosystem, a perfect spiral, if you want to use that metaphor. And the wolves in this perfect ecosystem gain sentience, and imagination allows them to stretch the capacity of said capability. And then they gobble up all the stuff, and then they build creature comforts that kills all the feeder baseline organisms, these primary organisms. Like, if we were looking at what's going on in any example removed from ourselves, removed from humanity, we would be like, that's fucking crazy. That's not going to work. That's not sustainable. But we're so emotionally fucking tied into this bullshit hustle culture life that if you optimize your life economically and you just forget about your soul, you just forget about the well-being of other people and just focus on you, you can get whatever you want and God will love you and you'll go to heaven. Do you think, like, I mean, is that just enough for people? I don't know, guys. There's a faith vacuum. And strong men, I'm really afraid strong men are going to take its place. I hope not. I have faith. I have faith. That's why I'm making this video. I laid in bed for like 4 years wanting to die because I could see so clearly that the world was headed in this direction. But everybody just tells you, don't worry about that, worry about you. It's really hard to do that when these issues, I don't know. If everybody did that, then we'd all be fucking dead, is all I'm gonna say. So thank God somebody's doing it. All right, this has been MicMe TV. I'm fucking pissed. Have a good one, guys.